Do you remember what we have discussed last time in the area of clocks? Well, a specific angle is given. You need to find the time, exact time on the clock when the two hands of the clock are at that specific angle. That means theta would be given to you. You need to find m, and h would be given as well. So in this case, we'll take another example here. This is a little more challenging example. So well, the prerequisite for this, you need to watch the other two videos, clock number 1, video number 1 and clock number 2 as well. So both videos before you watch this video. So let's take a look at this. We need to find the exact time on the clock when the two hands of the clock make an angle of 80 degrees between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock. Well, between 10 and 11. So that means h is equal to 10. And of course, we need to find m. So we have three parameters, three variables, theta, h and m. Theta and h is given, we need to find m. So we use the formula, what is it? Theta is equal to 11 by 2m minus 30h, and theta is equal to 30h minus 11 by 2m, right? So, well, if the time is between 10 and 11, and definitely the hour hand of the clock between 10 and 11, right? So let's draw the hour hand here, between 10 and 11. And the minute hand, it must have what? The angle of 80 degrees. So 80 degree, so this is 90 degrees, so 80 degree would be slightly less than that. So this would be the 80 degree angle. I'm not sure where exactly it is. So let's assume that this is the point. And how about the other point? I mean, the hour hand would be here, between 10 and 11. And of course, the hour hand would be keep on moving. That's the reason it would be here, the next time. And the minute hand would be somewhere here. So that's 80 degree angle. So there are two possibilities between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock. Then we'll take a look at the formula as quick as possible in order to get the answers. Let's try the formula. Theta is equal to 30h minus 11 by 2m. And the second formula would be theta is equal to 11 by 2m minus 30h. Let's try this. Theta is equal to 80 and 30 into, what is it? H is 10 minus 11 by 2m. Now, next we go that in one step. 30 into 10, 300, and 300 is positives, and we'll take that 80 to the right hand side, so 80 become minus 80. 300 minus 80, 220, right? So 220, 11 by 2m is 220. And we need to cross multiply by the 2. So 220 into 2, 440. So 440 by 11. So m is equal to 440 by 11. So 440, of course, when you look at that, 44 and 11, how many times? It's 4 times. So, well, what you get is 40 minutes. So m is equal to 40 minutes past 10. Well, 10 hours, 40 minutes. That is where the two hands of the clock make an angle of what? 80 degrees. Alright, so we have one more possibility. This is 1040 is already here, and we need to have the other possibility. So let's try that. So let's try on the other formula. 80 is equal to 11 by 2m minus 30 into h. 300, 30 into 10, 300. 300 and 80 is here. So this is minus 300, we'll take to the other side. So that become what? 380. So 11 by 2m, that is equal to 380. Now we have to cross multiply with the 2. So m is equal to 380 into 2, 760. And 760 divided by 11. So 760 by 11 is what? 760, we'll take it divided by 11. So how many times? 6 times, right? 11 6 times, 66. What is the difference? 10. Reminder is 10. So this is 100, right? So well, 100, 11, how many times? 9 times, 69. And 12, 99. 11 into 9, 99. Remainder is 1. So 69, so what you get is 69 and 1 by 11 minutes. Past 10. Now you think about it. 69 and 9 by 11. Well, I mean 1 by 11. 69 and 1 by 11 from 10. 10 plus 69, it is after 11 o'clock because 60 minutes is 1 hour. 10 plus 60 minutes is 11 o'clock. So we'll get a time, it's after 11 o'clock. What we need to find, the question asks you to find the time between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock. That means the hour hand must be between 10 and 11. So we don't get the answer from this formula. So that makes this question a bit more challenging. That is slightly different from the previous question which we have done on clocks number 2, video number 2, right? So this one doesn't give us the answer. So that kind of situations, what you have to do is use the same formula which has given you the answer. So we'll go back to that formula. What is it? Theta is equal to 30h. Theta is equal to 30h minus 11 by 2m. And of course, if you use the same formula in the same way, we get the same answer, right? It doesn't help us. We need the second. So what we do, instead of this theta 80, we use the reflex angle of that 80. This is 80, the other angle, the opposite to that. So that means 360 minus 80. 360 minus 80 is what? 280, correct? So theta, we'll take it as 280. That is equal to 30 into h, that means 300, minus 11 by 2m. Let's try this. 300 minus 280 goes to the other side. So that's minus 280. So 300 minus 280 is 20. So 11 by 2m. 11 by 2m negative, we'll take it to the other side. 11 by 2m is equal to 20. And of course, m is equal to, cross multiply with a 2. 20 into 2, 40. 40 by 11. That's equal to what? Previous case it was 400 by 11. I mean 440 by 11. This case it's 40 by 11. 40 by 11 how many times? 11? 11 3 times. So 11 into 3, 33. Remember is what? 7. 7 by 11 minutes. So ultimately what is the answer? 10 hours, 3 and 7 by 11 minutes. That would be the answer you get. So we have two answers here. This is one of the answer we have, 1, and this is the second answer. So ultimately, in the diagram, it shows that it is between 10, after 10:05, but the diagram is not correct. We just, assumed it somewhere after this 12. So it must be something like, if it is, the angle is 80, it must be like this. It would be like this. Minute hand would be like this. So this is how we deal with the questions in clocks, especially when you get a question, the angle is given, we need to find the timing, and we try to use the both formulas. That means theta is equal to 11 by 2m minus 30h, and theta is equal to 30h minus 11 by 2m. Well, one formula has given us the answer, the second formula is ending up in an error answer. So that case, what you have to do, use the formula which has given you the answer, and you have to use the reflex angle of that 80. And we got the second possibility answer as well. Alright, be aware of this kind of questions, and of course, be prepared for that as well. Now, another type of questions you may have is gaining clock. If it is a gaining clock, that means that clock would be gaining time. That means it would be running fast. So that is called the gaining clock. And what would be the possible time gap between the two coincidences of two hands of a gaining clock? A normal clock, 65 and 5 by 11 is the time gap between two coincidences. But for a gaining clock, what's the peculiarity? The clock would be running faster than the normal clock. So that means the time gap, you can think about what is the time gap. And well, this would be the question. What would be the possible time gap between two consecutive coincidences of a gaining clock? So the answer choices are, first answer choice A, 67 and 3 by 11 minutes, and B, 65 and 5 by 11 minutes, and C, 63 and 4 by 11 minutes, and 66 and 2 by 11 minutes. So what is the question? What would be the possible time gap between two coincidences of two hands of a clock which is a gaining clock. That means it is running faster than the normal clock. If it is a normal clock, what would be the time? 65 and 5 by 11, time gap, it is 65 and 5 by 11 minutes, correct? So, if it is a gaining clock, it must be running faster than this. So, this case, 67 and 3 by 11 means it takes more time. So, the clock will be slow. So, that cannot be the answer. And 65 and 5 by 11 means that's a standard clock. That means that clock is not a gaining clock. It is not a losing clock. It will show the exact time. So that cannot be the answer. And well, 63 and 4 by 11 minutes, that clock runs faster than the normal clock. So that would be normally a gaining clock. So that's a possibility. So it could be an answer. But before we confirm, we'll check with the last answer choice as well. So 66 and 2 by 11. 66 and 2 by 11, that means it is slower than the normal clock. 65 and 5 by 11 is the normal. So 66 means it takes more time. For example, if you start from a place A and if you need to reach B, so that it's pretty much 5 minutes distance. And if you reach there earlier than 5, you are faster than normal. So that means you are gaining time, right? So this case, the clock is what? It is faster than, it took only 63 and 4 by 11 minutes for the next intersection. So that must be faster than the normal time. So this is the answer choice. So if the clock which is gaining, then the time gap between the two coincidences would be less than 65 and 5 by 11. However, if the clock is a losing clock, the time gap between two coincidences would be more than 65 and 5 by 11 minutes. Alright, so that is another clocks related question. So it is my pleasure working with you guys. See you next time. Thanks for watching.